Hey, BookTube. Sorry, I forgot to hit record. What the hell? Today I'm going to do some Friday reads um, and talk a little bit about a couple books that I finished this morning after I made that first video. So, things I'm going to be finishing this weekend. Clockwork Orange. And by the way, I just want to say how much I freaking love this book. Not just the book, but like the actual physical copy of this book. It feels nice. It's very. It's just feels so good, and I've always loved this cover, so this is really cool. But it's been a while since I read this, and one thing that I totally just don't even remember at all was that for those of you who know about this, the girls from the record store and the girl when they fight Billy Goat. I know that's not his real name, but I can't remember what his name is. All of them are supposed to be 10, which is really weird. And Alex is 15, so I'm assuming his droogs are like 14 or 15. So, I mean, I know in the movie he's like, they're young, but that's just something like I don't ever like consider when I think of Clockwork Orange. I don't go, oh, that movie where a bunch of like 14, 15-year-old guys like do a bunch of fucked up shit. You know, it's like I always picture them older, like 18, 19, 20, 21, like in that realm. So that's just kind of weird. And when you read it, like it kind of hits you a little bit. It's like, ooh, like this is getting pretty nasty, you know? So I'm going to finish this. It's going great. But I did finish 2 books this morning, and I did Clockwork Orange first because that was on top of the pile when I stacked my books up here. I will give you the bad news, okay? Bad news is Hand of Fu Manchu is not amazing. And I'm not saying it's a bad book. I'm just saying, like, the first Fu Manchu book, like, this book just feels like the Return of Fu Manchu was very similar to the first one, but the more I think about it, I think I like it a little bit more. Like, it's kind of stuck with me. Hand of Fu Manchu, I finished reading this like maybe 20 minutes ago, and there are giant chunks of this book missing in my brain. Like, it is so forgettable, and I think it's because it is so similar to the last two. So, I don't know if I'm going to run into read the next one right away, which is Daughter of Fu Manchu, which is probably going to be a bit different, and it was written quite some time after this. So I'm on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I finished it. So that was that. I will put it right there for right now. Another book I finished, and I finished this in a storm. Like, I started it last night and finished it this morning. Like, and I don't know why I keep acting surprised. Guess what it is? No, it's not the 50th anniversary hardcover edition of Days of Our Lives, the book. It is Jungle Tales of Tarzan. Now, this book, oh, you know what's so rad? This guy right here, I can't remember what his name is, the witch doctor dude. Um, if he didn't have that thing on his face, this would be one of the most terrifying pictures ever. Because I'm assuming he has leprosy or something, but parts of his face have eaten away. And he's like supposed to be super terrifying looking, which is super cool. But anyway, so this book is kind of like a prequel. And look at the guy. Like, that's not Tarzan. Look at him. He's like, hey, I'm supposed to be playing a role in Gone with the Wind, and I took a wrong turn on the set. Now I'm here. I don't know. I always trip out because I'm like, so how does Tarzan shave? I'm sure that's a question everyone asks themselves, but because in this book it was the first time he actually cut his hair, and he did it with a shell. But anyway, so this is a prequel, but what's neat about this is it's like a bunch of short stories. Now get this, that interconnect. Um, but not like you would think. So, um, it goes kind of from after he. It like starts from when he's turning from being a child into a man, basically. And some of the things that, like the changes that he goes through. And this book, I think, is where you really see how amazing Edgar Rice Burroughs is. Because he is constantly like, the thing about Tarzan in this book that's really great is that Tarzan's constantly like curious. He's constantly trying to figure things out, and he doesn't understand why the apes he's living with don't have that same mentality. Like how um, some flowers bloom at night and some flowers bloom during the day, and that totally like boggles his mind, but the other apes have never noticed that that was even a thing. There's just so many cool little things like that. But the thing that starts this book off is really weird. It's called Tarzan's First Love, I think. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Tarzan's First Love. And it's really weird. It's like feels a little awkward, but there's this him and these two other apes, one was male, one was female, that he grew up playing with, and they would like roughhouse and just have fun and whatever. But one day the guy wasn't that much fun to play with anymore. He was always kind of like ugh, kind of thing. And he started noticing that the female was starting to look like a female, like having more female traits like his ape mother had and all this other stuff. And when the other ape was talking to her, like he started getting angry, and he didn't know why. He didn't understand like why he was feeling anger. And so through a series of events, he realizes that he's like he wants this female ape to be his mate and all this stuff. And it's just like, when you say that out loud, it sounds fucking stupid, but like the way he takes you through Tarzan's thoughts and his emotions to get to that point, the fact that I read a book about a dude who was in love with a monkey and totally believed it and had empathy for the characters, it's like, what the fuck? Like, I, it's just amazing. So anyway, it's a bunch of short stories, but the things that happen like in the next story, like those two apes um, that I was talking about just a second ago, they they come in and out on all the short stories, and so there's all these characters that are being made, and just all of these things. Like there's a point where Tarzan's depressed because he doesn't have a baby, and so he wants a baby. So he goes and basically kidnaps a baby from this tribe of natives and stuff. Um, and then goes through what it's like to care for something that cannot take care of itself, and how strange that is for him, and how weak he thought the child was that it couldn't take care of himself. It's like, and just his relationship with the animals, his relationship with the elephant, just, it's so fucking well done. The problem is, there's two problems actually. Dos amigos. One is, if you do not like problematic books, um, this book will probably offend you. Okay? Like, this is the first book out of these books where there were some things written that I was like, ooh, wow, that's gonna be hard to pass off on BookTube here, Edgar. You know, why aren't you looking out for a brother here, man? Um, I don't know how I'm gonna sell this to the folks. So there are some, but again, this is like what, like 19. God, I want to say 17, but I don't think that's right. Oh, 1917. Okay. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a completely different world, and I'm not um, a big fan of rewriting history so everyone gets to feel better about themselves. Like, this is literature. Literature, in whatever form it is, it's a part of our history, and to ignore it is fucking ridiculous, you know? Um, so, but anyway, that's one thing. But then when the story ended, when the book was over, it didn't feel like an ending. It was so anticlimactic. Like, not that the last story wasn't exciting, because it was, but as a whole, it really just kind of fell flat. It's just a book of really amazing stories that you wish would keep going. Because in, like, this is the sixth fucking Tarzan book, and this is the first one where it wasn't about, oh, Jane got fucking kidnapped by somebody. Oh, your kid kidnapped. Figure that out, Tarzan. And I don't want to downplay those books because those have been great, but this was just put together so fucking well. And I don't know what the next Tarzan book's gonna be like. It's Tarzan the Untamed, but I'm pretty sure that had a different title at one point. Um, and the book is like twice the size of any of the other ones I've read so far. So, whatever. But I really like this pre Jane Tarzan. Like, God, man, I don't, I'm just blathering now, but like, I really can't express how well Edgar Rice Burroughs is inside the head of Tarzan and is able to like show it to you and have you accept it as legit shit. It's amazing. Like, oh, and honestly, I think this was a reason why Hand of Fu Manchu was so bad for me, or not, like, God, it's not like it's awful. It's very British, but so like Tarzan has like I don't know. Basically, this was great. Hand of Fu Manchu was barely below average. Okay, um, pick this up. You could pick this up and read this first if you wanted to, and it would not hinder you at all. So, if you want to start with this, start with this. Um, but Tarzan of the Apes is also a good one to start with. But Jungle Tales of Tarzan might be my favorite Tarzan book right now. Can't believe I just said that. Because Beast of Tarzan was pretty fucking good. Son of Tarzan was really good too. But yeah, so amazing. All right. So I haven't started Mastermind of Mars yet, so I got to get on that. And I wanted to, now that I finished with the Blood and Thunder Guide to Pulp Fiction, I kind of want to go back and finish this. The only reason why I'm holding off is because I have just wanted to order so many goddamn books after reading that Pulp Fiction book that if I read this, I have the strong assumption that I am going to be on books in a half a hot second. So I might go into this. When I was putting together my most owned authors, and I did that really freaking long video about all of the authors that I own a lot of books of, I pulled down all of my Mickey Spillane books. And this is the next book in the Mike Hammer series. And this was written almost 20 years after, what's it called? Survival Zero. So I'm really curious to see what late 80s Mike Hammer is going to be like compared to early 70s Mike Hammer. So I might get into this weekend, maybe. And then the last thing, basically because I was reading the Pulp Fiction guide, I might actually get into this again. I used to have a bunch of little paperbacks that were the Ballantine paperbacks that had this amazing painting that if you put all the books together, it made this fucking beautiful, terrifying thing. But my dad got me this book when I was like in 6th grade or something. And I don't know. I've read a lot of the stories out of it, but I haven't like read it all in one. God damn it! In one go before. And Lovecraft stuff is really short, so like most of the stories are like, well, most of the early stories are like 2,000 words or under. So I might dip into that. I've been really, 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 really wanting to. But I also found out that the new issue of Moon Knight came out, and I'm not going down the mountain anytime soon. So I'm kind of SOL on that, and I'm a little upset. I wonder if Daredevil came out, because then I'm going to be doubly upset. But anyway, is that it? That can't be it. Is it? Oh, I guess that might be it. I have a couple other books on Goodreads that I'm finishing up. One is an audio book of The Bat, which is another Sax Rohmer book. Gizmo. New. Are you coming up? Are you coming up? Nope. Okay. But or no, Batwing is what it's called. What did I say it was called? I don't even remember. Anyway, I was listening to that, but I might stop because it seems it seems like Sax Rohmer had one gear when it came to that kind of book, which is weird because Nude and Mink is like really not like that. So I guess that's it. So anyway, let me know down below what you're reading and if you've read any of these books and if there's any books that you think I should read. And yeah, so until I come up with an idea for another video, I'll see you later.